Welcome back to All Set Games, where in this section of my playlist we'll be discussing code and understanding it. Now, we're dealing with the Tetris game now, and the first line of code in the Tetris game, which enables you to move the blocks left or right, is the input get down key. So what we do, as always, is we go and search for this function, and when we find it, we click on it. And we read through the function. The input down key is here, and we will click on that and go to the next section. The get down key is followed by the subfunction key code. This returns true during the frame. The user starts pressing down on the key identified by the key code. So we will go and look at the key code, and we have input, get key down, key code, and in this case it's got a subfield of space. Now there are a whole cluster of these subfields, which means that there are different coding functions. When you do input, get down key, key code, you've got a whole cluster of functions that you can run off of this, and you will see them here. So I'm not going to read through these, I'm just going to scroll down, and you'll see that we want left arrow key and right arrow key. So these are all the functions that come under that, and there's a lot of them. That's why C# is a very complex language. It's a bunch of libraries and functions that have many sub-functions. In order to understand them, you have to go in bit at a time and start to learn what they do. And we'll come down here to our left arrow key, which is on our script. It's the first one on our script. We have got a left arrow key. We'll deal with this in a minute. And we've got the right arrow key. So let's come back in here. It just indicates you're going to press the left arrow key. So I said there's a whole cluster of things that you can get off of this. So the whole line of code would be, if an event takes place and it's input get down key, there is a get up key, key code associated with another function. We're using the left arrow here, and we're using the right arrow here. And we'll move on to look at this little lot here. This we've actually been through before in the former coding area, but this has just a slightly different function here, which we'll look at. So you go and get your function, which is now transform.position. Copy that. Go into Visual Studio. Look up transform.position. Transform.position from the manual. So plus equals means that you've got transpose position equals transpose position plus some additive. In this case, we have new vector, and the vector goes negative in the x direction, which is lateral, and 0 in the y and 0 in the z. And if we look up the transform position, we'll see that it expands on this. Transform position equals transform position plus new, and in this case, this example, they're using a specific vector, vector 3, which we've seen before. This gives you some control over a vehicle, like we did in the Unreal series, where it has some time dependency control. Instead of going through the frames 60 odd a second, this enables you to slow it down with the control speed. But as far as moving a key around, just the general vector, which enables you to change the x, the y, and the z, is fine. So that does that for the up and down key, and so that does for the left arrow key, and from the right arrow key, we're just going in a different direction. That should be a plus, so that's wrong there on the code. So that should be a plus, and that enables us to see what that function is doing.